Hello there, you're watching Pro Gamer Parent. I'm Rick and today I'm going to talk to you about following the data. The thing is, with so much we do in the world, it's so easy as to go into do it by habit, to do things we've always done, and especially when we face resistance. It's so easy to get stuck in a game, and I'm talking about your kids' gaming habits right now, to get stuck in a game and just playing it because it feels safe, because it feels like we're doing something. But more is not better. So what do I mean when it comes to following the data? Have a discussion with the kid. How do you know progress? Is there a ladder? Are you talking about, what kind of statistics are you talking about? And when they sit down, what's the intention there? What data metrics are we doing? And once again, everything isn't in the data. Also talk about emotions and intuition, and then ask them, why do you think that is more favorable? Why do you take that position? How come you're doing it like that? I have not seen that before. Or I always see that you're doing that. And help them see, when are they facing something based on intuition or gut feeling, or a friend said so, and when are they facing it because they have either a ladder or something, they've tried it and it's proved to work, or they have some other data, to say statistics on a web. Or I used to play World of Warcraft, and we had the Simcraft there that's extremely good at parsing logs, and you could tell and stuff like that. How are you helping them see that they are using both their gut feeling, their intuition, and the data? And by following the data, we can remind ourselves that we're on a plateau. Things aren't happening. And quite often what happens again then is we do more instead of we do better. I'm going to play some more and then eventually I'm going to level up. Usually that's not the case. We need to figure out, what can we do differently? What other metrics can we focus on to do better? And that will catapult us out of this plateauing thing. And following the data is not always easy. Sometimes we need to figure out, what kind of metrics can I use? And we might be stuck on a pen and paper to write a few notes. How often I do that? For example, when I was a young leader, I learned from Manager Tools, which by the way is a great podcast that I totally recommend. It's totally free, and I've been listening to that since 2005, and they were quite early in the podcasting industry. And there I learned to give feedback by putting it poker chip or anything in my left pocket, like 5 of them, or coins or something. And every time I delivered feedback, move them to the next pocket. I also have friends who had rubber bands and move it there. Doesn't really matter what you're doing, but you can, metrics and data doesn't have to be in a system or a spreadsheet or in a log or on a ladder or a ranking. Metrics and follow the data can be by your observation. Everything you did something, do that. The good thing about this coin thing, when you got home, you realized, I thought I'd given feedback today, but all the coins are still in the wrong pocket. And this exercise I learned, say 5 feedbacks a day, and every time you do that, move a coin to the other pocket, or whatever. You make a note somewhere. It doesn't really matter if you're sitting at the computer playing a game. Have a blank piece of paper and just write down, now I've tried tossing things through a window, and how often did I hit when I wanted, or how often did I get what I expected out of this? So give yourself your own metrics if the system doesn't support it, and also zoom out. Don't be too eager to have an impact. Doing this 5 days in a row might not be enough to see the visible change you want. But that's also why it's good to have something to back ourselves against, because we might be thinking, I've been doing this forever and ever and ever. But if we look at whatever we have jotted down, we realize, no, I've done it for 5 days. when I started, I said I'm gonna do this for 3 weeks. Right now is too early to decide if this, whatever it is I'm A/B testing. A/B testing means when you're testing two things and seeing if one model of the world is better than another model of the world. So it's too early to judge. I have too little data to say either or. And once again, quite often we get emotional about it. Perhaps we find it's boring to train those awkward mechanisms. But once again, that's the resistance that might make your kid win, because they're suddenly expert in certain situations other people don't train at. So do that. Also, other observations might be worth noting down. How often is it foggy on your map? Even if there's no statistics anywhere, you can make and suddenly you realize that scopes longer than this and this isn't really interesting on this map, because it's too foggy, and you will have some data to say, I'm gonna choose differently whenever I have a choice on this particular map. So and now we're talking games, but in real life too. Whenever you have data, it's so much easier to persuade anyone else. If you're eventually a leader and you have a team under you, you probably need some data when you're talking performance reviews, and you have to help with appraisals on a big organization and explain to other people why your people deserves a bigger part of the salary increase. So it's always good to having notes to help you make decisions and to help you show how the world looks like to someone else. Gut feeling is brilliant, and I sure want you to go in alignment with your gut feeling, and once again, do talk about things like that with your kid. Quite often it's hard to explain why are you feeling like that, but when you go to the corporate world, you probably need some data to back that up. And isn't it wonderful if habits learned to become better at the game by doing some note-taking outside the game makes your kid win the game? When you're learning things that's going to benefit them for life. Here's some food for thought. I hope that helps. Have a good one. Bye-bye.